Does anyone else remember the 2020 Lakers? The team that won the championship in the most weird way possible in a bubble, going to Orlando, Florida, with no fans, no crowd, no home court advantage, playing the Miami Heat, the 5th seed Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference, beating them in 6 games after they were the worst three-point shooting team in the regular season. Remember, they were one of the worst teams shooting the ball in the regular season, and in the playoffs, they turned it on, being one of the best three-point shooting teams. But before we get into the video, guys, I want to say thank you guys so much for the recent video I posted. Thank you guys for the love. It's currently the most viewed video right now on my channel. I just want to say thank you guys for the love. And just thank you guys. I just want to thank you guys. And we're going to get more videos coming up soon. And now 4 years later, we're seeing the Lakers having to compete to even get a spot in the play-in. I mean, they're the 9th seed, trying to get it to the 6th spot to avoid the play-in. But look, it's the second straight year that they're in the play-in position. Second straight year. After the first 2 years, they were dominant, and now once again they're in the play-in. They re-signed KCP in the summer of 2020. They brought back Dennis Schroeder. They traded for him, a move that a lot of people liked. I mean, they lost Rajon Rondo, but they got Dennis Schroeder, who was the best sixth man arguably in the NBA, behind Montrezl Harrell, who the Lakers also signed to a mid-level extension. That was a deal that many are like, okay, now it's got to be over, because they just took that piece away from the Clippers. That was a move that many said the Lakers want free agency, and they did at the time. I mean, you look at the signings they made here, they were just repeating the same players they had. Obviously, they lost some players, but they still had their key group together that won the 2020 championship, and they just added more players that looks like it would ensure them that they would repeat and win another title. So what happened after that? And the following season, they started off 21-6. The 2020-2021 season, they were 21-6. It's not like they were bad. They started off really hot. They look like, okay, they're going to continue this dominance. They're going to look like the same team last year, but something happened. And we all know what happened after this. Injuries happened. Look, as I mentioned, they were still really healthy. They still started off 26, second best record in the West, and their defense was obviously number one all the time. When LeBron and AD were out there, they were the best defensive team in the entire NBA. Obviously, Frank Vogel being their head coach, he was the best defensive player. But we all know the injuries to AD. This injury against Denver on Valentine's Day, February 14, 2021, really hurt them. I mean, when he missed time, the Lakers really struggled. They went from the second best team in the West to being in the play-in. And they just, remember, the injuries were saying AD and Kevin Durant. It was a similar injury to when Kevin Durant, remember when he tore his Achilles against the Raptors. Remember, I made this video recently about their run. When he got injured against the Rockets, he came back against the Raptors and tore his Achilles. Now remember, Anthony Davis' injury was a calf injury, but we're like, oh, maybe it's just a calf injury. Everyone's saying it's just a calf injury, but why was he out for so long? Because remember, he was out for almost 2 months with the injury, and everyone was getting worried. Is it an Achilles injury? Is it just, I don't know, why is he missing time? And it was similar to the KD injury, everyone was saying. So, but they still had to rush him back because they were pushing for a playoff spot, and they needed to be healthy when they were going to play the Phoenix Suns. But even with the injuries, still you had Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl. Their role players they picked up, they stepped up. They were playing really well. Even without AD and LeBron, this was their average. They were playing really well basketball, and they were still getting in some wins, but most of those wins, they were still, falling down. And remember, the best duos, the older guy usually has to take a step back and let the younger guy take over. That's just how it's been. Kobe and Shaq was like that. When Shaq would just let Kobe do his thing, Wade would let LeBron do his thing. But with this duo, with the LeBron AD duo, you see LeBron still plays really, really hard, even right now at 39 years of age. So the injury, remember, LeBron, when he did get injured this season in 2021, that injury was inevitable because he was still trying so hard. And the injury happened because of that. Trying really, really hard, and yes, AD scores a lot, but he doesn't really push AD to be the best player. He's tried at times, but it just doesn't work out. So this was inevitable. They were 7-10. Remember, without AD and LeBron, they both missed 17 games. They were 7-10. The injuries to AD and LeBron, Lakers still did some business. They signed Andre Drummond to kind of fill out their rotation with size, and he did a good job. I mean, he played really well, but still, the Lakers were still in the play-in at the time. They played the Warriors. We all know the iconic shot that LeBron hit over Steph Curry. And let's be honest, they were losing the game. They honestly would have lost the game if Steph Curry had help. It came down to the wire. They barely squeezed out of the game. And then we all know they faced the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs. They were up 2-1 with LeBron, who was kind of playing through an injury, and AD. But Drummond was kind of there to kind of help AD to not be in the paint as much as Drummond, because Drummond is pretty much a center. AD struggles to play center, we see it now, but Drummond was doing his job rebounding. But defensively, he wasn't playing really well. He's not a good defender. You saw Chris Paul pretty much doing what he was doing, scoring, even Devin Booker. And, he's just there for rebounding. He was clogging the paint, and Marc Gasol the same. Marc Gasol and Drummond, they were kind of trying to replace when they had, remember, they had JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard. They're not JaVale McGee or Dwight Howard defensively. So Lakers were struggling. And we all know the injury to AD. He got injured in Game 4. The Lakers lost. And he just didn't return. He tried to play Game 6, couldn't do it, and left. And that was pretty much the Lakers season in 2021. Injuries pretty much hurt this team. They were up 2-1 on the Suns, and they lost the last 3 games because of injuries. I do believe the Lakers would have won the series if they were healthy against the Suns. We saw them, but that is pretty much what happened to cap off that season. They just
Washington Wizards agreeing to send that man, Russell Westbrook, to the Lakers. They gave up a lot, or the Lakers gave up a lot, I should say, to get him. The 22nd pick in last night's draft, plus Kyle Kuzma, plus Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, plus Montrezl Harrell. All of this according to our Adrian Wojnarowski.
The Lakers, we all know what they did. They traded for Russell Westbrook in this offseason, just betting on themselves, gambling for another superstar, third star to join LeBron and Anthony Davis, thinking that that's how they're supposed to build a team, just getting rid of all their role players and just signing and getting Russell Westbrook. And at the time, many thought the Lakers were the favorites to come out of the West with this deal, even to win the championship. But there were still some people who were questioning the move because Russell Westbrook wasn't able to shoot. We all know he's an inefficient player, turns the ball over. And it was a deal that didn't really make sense for the Lakers because the Lakers could have gotten other ways. Could have gotten Buddy Hield. There were a lot of rumors. The Lakers were in the mix of trying to get Buddy Hield. After they lost guys like Alex Caruso, you're trading away KCP and Kuzma. You're 2 of your best perimeter players and defenders. And you're giving up Montrezl Harrell, who was a really good guy off the bench for you. And the Lakers gave that all up for Russell Westbrook. It just didn't make sense. Even though LeBron and AD didn't really play much in that season, they missed a lot of time. You could still say, even with them on the floor, they were still not a really good team. The way they were playing, their defense got awful, losing those perimeter players. Their shooting, they lost all their shooting. LeBron was pretty much their best shooter, and that's telling you something. And it doesn't really matter if they played a little bit of games. They were struggling to win games. They lost all their depth, trading everything for Russell Westbrook. And it just shows you that teams don't really need a third star. We're seeing that right now with the Phoenix Suns. They're a playing team with Devin Booker barely being Kevin Durant. So big threes don't always fit. We've seen a lot of failed big threes, and the Lakers should have learned from their past experiment with Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, and Kobe. But they just gambled all that and wasted a few years of maybe the Lakers winning another championship. But the differences in the 2020 and 2021 offseason was in 2021. They just gave up all their young perimeter players for Russell Westbrook, and they just signed veteran minimum guys like Rajon Rondo, Dwight Howard, who were really good players, obviously, and Carmelo Anthony, but were just too old and didn't fit with LeBron and Anthony Davis. LeBron and Anthony Davis needed shooters. They needed shooters, not veteran minimum guys. And in 2020, they didn't make a mistake. In 2020, after they won a championship, they still got good players. They got Dennis Schroeder. They still had KCP, Danny Green. I'm sorry, not Danny Green. But they had most of their pieces. But in 2021, they just threw it all away. So that's pretty much what hurt the Lakers in this era of LeBron. Because LeBron really, he did want Russell Westbrook. If I play this clip here for you guys, everyone says LeBron pushed for a Russell Westbrook trade. Russell Westbrook would not be in a Lakers uniform if it wasn't for LeBron James.
Even though LeBron James can have the finger pointed at him for pushing for Russell Westbrook to come to this roster, and therefore he can't escape any culpability whatsoever, it doesn't negate the fact that if you're Russell Westbrook.
Thank you guys for watching. Please let me know what the Lakers have won a championship or even have gone to the finals if they had kept their current roster and they didn't have to trade for Russell Westbrook. Would they have won a championship or would they have just went to the finals and lost? Please let me know. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. More videos like this are coming soon. Peace.